Hi, my name is Denis Taaffe, and I'm here with my guitar setup, and I guess I've been asked to tell you a little bit about it. I'll start here. This is my guitar. It's basically, I have two racks here, okay? This rack, okay, it's an 8-space rack, is dedicated to specifically just my guitar sound, my regular guitar sound. And from the top to the bottom, I've got a power conditioner, a BDE sonic maximizer, gives it a little bite to the sound. From there, an S200 Digitag, it's basically an FX processor. It gives me some reverbs, delays, and so on. Then I have a Hush 2CX, and that keeps things quiet. And then I have a Tube Effects, which is a guitar preamp, and I use that. That's really the core of my guitar sound. And then from there, just a vent panel, and then here a 5050 Classic Series power amp, and it's a tube power amp, all tube stereo. So that's really the core of my guitar sound. Okay, in this rack, this is more my looping rack. Okay, provides the additional sound besides the regular guitar sound. And from top to bottom here, we have also a power conditioner. From here, this is a custom unit made for me. It has a stereo chorus box built in here, which is really used as a splitter. And behind this panel here, we've got a whole bunch of jacks that route things in different ways all throughout the system. And this is just power button here. Then I have two Digitag S200 effects processors, and both of these provide also reverbs, delays, and things. One is dedicated to a drum machine, okay, which is this panel here that's kind of sticking out right now. This is a MIDI octopus, this unit here, and what that unit does is basically, it has to do with the switching. When I hit a switch on the pedal board, it can switch different units throughout the racks. Below that, I have a 200-watt power amp, single space, and it's a microtube. It's kind of a hybrid between a solid-state amp and a tube amp. Okay, and that powers two Marshall 2x12 cabinets. Okay, and then a vent panel and another PV5050 all-tube power amp. And you can tell I like tubes, but it really helps me get that sound that I'm really after. And then above here, right at the top of the rack, I have a Mackie 14-channel mixer, okay? And that mixes signals together, mixes all the different processes together. So that's the rack system there. I use four Marshall 212 cabinets. They have two 12-inch speakers in each cabinet. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if you can see them. 1, 2. Yeah, so I use four of those. Below the rack here, I have an 88. It's actually a bass amp, but more than a bass amp, it can also be set for a full range type of sound. And I use it really for monitoring, so I can hear what I'm doing, but it also adds to the low end quite a bit. Besides that, I also use one other amp. I don't know if you can see it in the photo or not, but it's just a really old PD bass amp. It's a TKO 65 actually. It has 65 watts, but it has this huge 15-inch speaker, and it really gives that low-end sound. It's responsive for most of it. Then along my pedal boards here, and you have to remember this, so this whole setup is still undergoing experimentation. I still need a lot of cables, and there's still a few pieces of equipment that are missing that I really need, and hopefully I'll get them someday. But for now, this is what I'm working with. Here I have a looping pedal board. Right, it's a boomerang here on the right. This is actually a volume pedal, but it's used as an expression pedal. What that allows me to do is basically control these effects units here, individual parameters, for example the amount of delay or the amount of reverb on the sound itself. From there we have a MIDI mitigator, RFC1 pedal board. I've had this thing for probably, 10 or 12 years. The company's pretty much out of business, unfortunately, so hopefully this one will stay working for a while. But this is basically the main switcher. This switches mostly of the units in this rack, but it can also switch some of these if need be. And I use these to control basically all the different kinds of sounds. I can go from a clean sound to a distorted sound with this pedal board here. From there, below I have an ADA MIDI controller, MC1. ADA unfortunately is also out of business. I guess I use kind of a gear that maybe is not very well supported, but at the time, that it came out, it really did a nice job, and I haven't found units that can do quite the same thing as well. So this little unit here actually controls the drum machine and one of the processors. Okay. And this is a true bypass. Okay. And it's basically a stereo switch box that basically I have modified to basically be a stereo effects loop. It brings stereo signals in and out of the chain, of the guitar chain, to create the complete sound. And then along this side, I don't know if you can see this little pedal here, this is a foot switch that was made for me, and it's 3 controls, and it's basically controls the jacks that are behind here, and it's a stereo ABC switch. In other words, I can run just the Marshall cabinets, okay, or I can also run the bass cabinets alone, or the bass cabinets with the Marshall cabinets. Just give me a little flexibility. Besides that, it can also be used to basically have the looping pedal boards play out of both speakers, or one looping pedal board per speaker. Okay, and it gives me a little flexibility. And that it's those types of things that I'm still working out, in detail. There's still a lot to do. It starts to get very complicated, but at the same time, you want to maintain the high quality sound. And the more cables that you start using, right, and the more equipment, the more sound it can generate, right, and bad sound. In other words, hiss and unwanted distortion. Okay, so you want to keep this out. And that's pretty much it. I forgot there's a couple pedals back here as well. Okay, this pedal right here, I don't know if you can see it, a little teeny thing. It's just one switch, and what that switch does is it controls this chorus unit here. There's a sweep effect that can be turned on and off. Okay, really gives it a real stereo sound. Okay, and then besides that, I use a Yamaha pedal right here. I don't know if you can see that, a little pedal as well. And basically what that does is, with the drum machine, right, it can start or stop the drum machine, but also it can create fills, okay, with the drum machine. And that's basically it for now. I mean, that is my setup, but the setup will change. For right now, I'm very happy with the sound, though there's still quite a ways to go. So that's my setup.